He has all authority and power in his hands. Nothing can defeat him. No other god, idol, or image can overthrow him. He is God. He is sovereign. There is no one like him. Your heart is yearning to fill a void that only Christ can fill. Good morning. I don't have to be at work until 12, so I decided to do a little filming this morning. I am going to do a get ready with me, but it's gonna include a little story time. I asked, I don't know, maybe like a month or so ago on Instagram, I did a poll to see if you guys would be interested in story time. I got a couple of responses. So one of the suggestions was my birth story. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Please, if you have any other suggestions, if you like how story time goes today and you want more, please put in the comments some things that you want to hear about. I just finished my devotion on the Bible app. Then I'm gonna do a little reading in my Bible. I journaled last night before bed. I don't think I have any new thoughts, but if I do, something pops in my head, I have my journal too. Okay, so birth story. Let's see, where do I start? So Kalia, I really love my date of birth because it's super like easy and it's the same number. It's the same for her as well. Her date of birth is 10/10/2020. Talk about being powerful and just really strong angel numbers. Where is my, oh, here it is. So let's go back to October 9th, which was a Friday. I had work that day, and when I woke up, everything was fine. Let's just put it out there that everything was fine the entire day. I never once felt a contraction. I never once felt like anything was wrong. I had a perfectly normal day. I'm gonna get it. I ordered, it's like a running joke that the reason why I went into labor was because I had a bunch of fried food for lunch, because I ordered food from IHOP, and this is why I think I ordered breakfast too. I ordered like literally all the fried food. Like it was onion rings, it was mozzarella sticks, happy, and it was something else fried that I had for lunch. But Kalia, at that time in my pregnancy, I had stopped driving to work, or just driving in general, because for one, it wasn't super uncomfortable, but for work especially, I was getting home, I was leaving when it was dark outside, and I believe it was the doctor, so that was the Friday, so I believe my doctor's appointment that Monday, when my doctor checked my blood pressure, it was slightly high, and it wasn't, anything that I was doing. I probably was just like freaking out because I was getting closer and closer to my due date, which was the 27th, but it wasn't abnormal. But she did tell me that if I didn't like get it under control, that it could potentially be Sesame Street. It could potentially be preeclampsia. So one of the effects of like the higher blood pressure was it made my vision a little blurry. So driving at night was really hard for me because, for one, I can't see. I wear glasses or contacts, and then two, the darkness and like the lights, like everything was just kind of like blending into each other. So I stopped driving, so Quasi was driving me to and from work. So he came to pick me up that day, and I remember him being on the phone with his best friend and his girlfriend, and they were like, oh, we can't wait for baby K to come, and like, all right, come on, baby K, hurry up, we want to see you. And I was like, we're good. Like, we had 2.5 more weeks. I felt like we would have been good having that time to prep whatever preparation meant. And it's just ironic that, the day that they said that was the day that I went into labor. So when we got home that night, he was putting together the stroller. Like, we were trying to figure out how it worked and like how the car seat snapped into it and all that jazz. Figured it out. Her room was like nowhere near ready, and I think I literally had just packed the hospital bag, like maybe a day or so ago. You see Kalia? I remember it being a thing because I had taken the clothes and I put them on the couch next to the bag, and I had asked him to just physically pack the bag, and he never did it. And then the day before I went into labor, I ended up just doing it myself, which good thing that I did it when I did, because I needed it and didn't even know that I was gonna need it. But yeah, so we had figured out the stroller and the car seat. The bag was packed, and I remember being hungry because I don't think I finished eating my lunch. Like, I just felt like, not that it was too much fried food, but I feel like it wasn't as appetizing as I would have wanted it to be. So I never finished my food, and I was kind of hungry. I'm a really big snacker even now. So I probably had like some snacks to get me through the day, but like I needed like food, like I needed something to eat, like a meal. So I remember being hungry and never getting anything to eat, and I feel like he and I were talking about what we were gonna eat, never got that far. At one point I was gonna get up and go take a shower, and then we started talking about something else, and then I laid back down. It was a good thing that I never got in the shower, because at that time that I was gonna get up, it was close to when I actually felt my water break, and I probably would not have realized if I was in the shower. It kind of felt like I peed on myself, but I knew, like, throughout my pregnancy, I didn't have any like sort of like can't hold my bladder issues. So when I felt the moisture, I was like, this is not okay. So I was like, I think maybe my water may have broken. And he was looking at me, and I was just looking at him, and we were just looking at each other, and we're like, okay. So I went to the bathroom, and at that point I had actually peed, because I didn't pee on myself. I went to the bathroom, and then when it might be a little TMI, but when I wiped, it was a lot of mucus. So I was like, okay, that's probably the mucus plug. So here I am, I'm Googling stuff before I start calling people and freaking out. And all things are at this point leading to, you might be in labor. I'm calling my mom. She's not answering. It was not the time to not answer the phone. And I was trying not to freak out. So then he called his mom, and he was explaining what happened, and she was like, no, if her water broke, she would know. And in my head, I was like, my water broke. So I feel like, I feel like part of it is because part of the confusion was because, for one, I've never been pregnant before. I've never experienced this before. But also, when you watch TV and you see people's water breaking, it's always this like dramatic, like water gushing out of them, and that's not what I experienced. So I wasn't sure. And then my mom didn't answer. My mom calls back. It wasn't, you know, a super long time, but enough time. So she calls back as I'm about to get in the shower, and she was like, you know, I'm not 100% sure, but you should call your doctor just to be safe. So, of course, you can't get in touch with your doctor after hours. You have to call, like, it's basically like this nurse hotline. The nurse was like, okay, let me, you know, transfer you to the doctor. So I speak to the doctor, and she was like, I don't think your water broke, because I had just seen her like 4 days ago. And she was like, I don't think your water broke, but, you know, just go to the hospital and have them check you out and see what they say. So now I'm in full panic mode, because there is a great possibility that this baby is coming 2.5 weeks early. I'm not ready for her. My entire pregnancy, everyone was like, she's gonna come early, she's gonna come early, and I'm like, mind your business. No, she's not. And here she was, potentially coming early. So at this point, I feel like my water broke, and it had to be in the 11 o'clock hour, because by the time, and I took like the quickest shower, because I was like, I need to go and figure out what's going on. So by the time the water broke, you know, I went to the bathroom, we called our parents, I took my shower, we grabbed the bag, and just literally, we didn't even install the car seat. Like, we threw the car seat into the car. By the time we did all of that and got to Emory, which is like 20 minutes from here, it was still before 12 o'clock. Like, all of this, hey baby, all of this happened in the 11 o'clock hour. So I'm in the shower, and I'm like crying, because I was like, I am not ready for this. I am somebody's mother. Like, I'm about to be somebody's mom. Like, this is no longer a game. Like, not that it was a game before, but like, I could kind of play a little bit because the baby wasn't here, but like, no, like, this baby was coming. I knew. So I have my moment of like, not weakness, but my moment of clarity, and like acknowledging that this baby is coming. I did all of that before I came out here to see him, because I didn't want to freak him out. I feel like guys get more freaked out about the baby coming than women do. So I didn't want to freak him out. So I took my shower, I cried in there, came out, pulled it together, and I was like, we need to go to the hospital. So he can kind of tell that I was like not fully, you know, mentally right, and was kind of worried. And, you know, we were like, okay, you know, we gotta calm down. So he was like, okay, you know, we gotta calm down. He was like, you know, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. So we literally throw the stuff in the car, and I just threw some sweatpants on, and we go down to Emory. I tell them what's wrong. We go up to the maternity ward, and then you have to get checked in and all that stuff. But luckily, my doctor had already called to tell them that I was on the way, so all we had to do was check in, and they had the room ready already. So I text my boss. Once I like get to my room and settled, I text my boss. I said, hey, I think my water broke. I'm at the hospital now. We're trying to figure out what's going on. I'll keep you updated. This is at 1 o'clock. I had already been, well, no, by the time I texted her, I think I hadn't been seen. I had just been settled in because I wasn't sure. So they come in, they do a cervical exam, which Okay, we're talking about childbirth, so all of it's gonna be TMI. Hey! Hey, you gotta chill, baby. What did I do with this? So basically what that is they insert their hand inside of you to check to see how dilated you are. And when she checked, she was like, okay, first of all, when she checked, once she took her hand out, the rest of the water broke, which I was like, okay, that makes sense because I only got a little bit before I got here. And she was like, okay, so you're 3 centimeters dilated, so we're gonna go ahead and admit you. I was like, what? And she was like, yeah. And he and I both looked at each other. She was like, you're gonna have this baby. And I was like, okay. So now we're like really freaking out. So they had set me up to all these machines. They had, you know, monitors to check my heartbeat and my heart rate, and monitors to check her heart rate and make sure that neither one of us were dipping or, you know, ebbing and flowing too much. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I thought it was weird that they didn't COVID test him, but I guess the assumption was that if I was negative, then he was negative too. They COVID tested me. That was my first time being COVID tested. I hated it. I almost slapped the doctor. Didn't mean to, but it was just like a natural reaction because I had never, you know, had something touching my brain. So when we first got hooked up to the machines, her heart rate was irregular and they were a little worried about that. So they had to monitor me for a little bit before they actually brought me to labor and delivery. So we were there for a little while getting it, you know, regular, and finally her heartbeat regulated. So they were like, okay, we're gonna take you over to labor and delivery. Once I got settled over there and, you know, hooked up to all the machines again, Quasi left to go get our bags in the car because we literally, like, we parked the car and just like, we were like, we need to find out what's going on now. So he went to go get the bags. I had texted my mom, so I had spoken to her, so she knew what was going on. I, at that point, called my dad and my sister to let them know. I just like, whenever I speak to my dad, we call him on WhatsApp. So I just video chatted him, and it was late at night, so he probably was like, what the heck is going on? But once I video chatted them, they were like, where are you? And then I showed them the room and they were like, oh my gosh. So we were talking for a little while. We were talking for a while Quasi was gone, and my dad was like, where is he? And I was like, I don't know, he went to go get the bags. And it had been so long, my dad was like, you think, it was like a joke, he was like, you think he went back to New York? Because we knew he was freaking out. Like, you know, he's a dad, it's his first kid, you know, you don't really know what your life is about to do, but you know that it's about to change. So he eventually comes back, and he's like, he seems like he had a moment, but he came back level-headed, which was good. I think at this point it was like 2 a.m. So this is now on the 10th. And after I finished speaking to my dad and my sister, we got off the phone. You know, my mom, she like sometimes is up early. Excuse me. So I remember like her texting me on and off, you know, checking to see how I was doing. And then I remember so basically what they do is they can give you potassium, which speeds up your labor process. It helps to bring the contractions on. So in the beginning, it was like, okay, we're gonna give you this much, and you know, we'll see how you're doing. And they would come back, oh, you still are okay, like you're not feeling contractions, okay, we're gonna intensify it. It was at a point like every hour they were doing it, and then towards the end it was like every 30 minutes. I was like, y'all gotta chill. So I remember it was like 6 a.m. and I was on the phone with my mom and I was crying. I was like, this is a lot. Like, they had turned it up so much that like sis was doing what it do in there. And I just remember her like trying to calm me down, trying to, you know, get me to breathe. That is, if anyone is watching, is pregnant or about to have kids or is thinking about having kids, my best advice to you, I know that the contractions can be terrible, but my best advice is to breathe through the contractions. It sounds like no, baby, you don't use this for your hair. Okay, all right, here. Breathe through the contractions. I know it's one of those things that sounds like, yes, like obviously why wouldn't I do that, but in the moment when you have all, like, it's just so much pain, like you can't even begin to describe how painful it is, you don't think about breathing in the moment. So just breathe through it as much as you can. It's gonna help your body not to cramp up so much. It's gonna help it's gonna help to get the process by a little bit more. So yeah, so that was 6 a.m. I remember by they kept telling me like, go to sleep, you know, try to take a nap. It's gonna help, you know, to make the time go by quicker. It's gonna help you to possibly not feel the contractions. And eventually I think I fell asleep for like 30 minutes. And it was only because at like 7 o'clock. Now I didn't do any epidural, but they can give you pain medication. It's temporary relief. So they give you this pain med. I can't remember what it is, but it's literally like, when I say temporary, I mean like 30 minutes. So I think at like 7 o'clock she gave it to me, and my, you know, everything had lessons. I was able to go to sleep, and I think, like I said, it was for like 30 minutes. I think once it wore off, I woke up immediately because I was in the middle of a contraction. Hop like an astronaut, hop like a shooting star. You see Kalia? Slide, happy, slide. It's time for the number of the day. Yup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't have any more fingers. 11, 12. I think her letter recognition, and now it seems like there's number recognition as well. It comes from Sesame Street because they do letters and numbers all the time. Anyway, I'm running out of time, and oh my god, I gotta wrap this up. So the medicine wore off. See Daddy's picture? Dad and Kalia. There were very intense moments for me. I remember like always calling the nurse, and I feel like I called the nurse one time and it could have been easily a minute, it could have been 2 minutes, it probably wasn't even that long, but I was in so much pain that I had called her and she didn't come quick enough. So I was like yelling at him, and I was like, you need to call the nurse. Yeah, I was yelling at Daddy. I was like, you need to call the nurse. I tell you, if you feel like you have to poop, that means that the baby's head is like right there and you cannot push. You gotta wait. Typically you gotta wait for the doctor. So I was like, it's just so much pressure. She was like, do you feel like you need to go to the bathroom? And initially I didn't, but it was still all that pressure. Intensifying. And I'm like, at the last time I remember calling her and I was like, I said, this baby is coming. She's coming now. and we need to get her out. And she was like, okay, just hold on a couple minutes. The doctor just got here. I was like, okay, good, because I'm going to start pushing with her without you. So the doctor comes in. Literally, from the time the doctor walked in, I was like they had already set me up. 5 minutes, couple pushes, little mama slid right out. It was like a slip aside. I don't really know what happened much after that in terms of like, you know, them taking care of her and all that stuff. I know that he said that I almost peed on her, but it's one of those things that you're pushing and you can't even feel what's coming out. But the doctors did catch her, so she did not get peed on. But I do remember like him cutting the umbilical cord, and it was funny because like he was emotional, but I wasn't, and I expected to be like, oh my God, my baby, and like all the sobbing, and I was just like, I mean, I was tired. Like, that was a lot of pain, and I was tired. Kalia, be careful, sweetie. What? Careful. But they put her on me, and she was so tiny. She was 5 pounds 10 ounces when she was born, so she was little, and they put her on my chest, and I was like, oh my God, she's so little. But it was a very good experience. I mean, just that whole like 5-minute period of like, you know, knowing that your pushes are going to bring this baby into the world, and you know, that time after, just holding her. She did pee on me though, and I'm gonna take that beef up with her when she gets older. But it was just such a beautiful thing. And like, I remember I didn't even see him on his phone, so once I got my phone, there were so many like text messages, missed calls. I don't even know why anybody called me, because like I had just given birth. I'm not about to answer the phone. But anyway, like it was one of those like news travels fast kind of things. But it was just such a good experience. Like even before the labor super intensified, one of my favorite things was listening to her heartbeat. And whenever she heard his voice, I wish I would have recorded it in the moment. I didn't even think to, but every time she heard his voice, her heart rate like shot up like so much. It was like their bond, even from in the womb, has like it's always been such a beautiful thing to see. It's made me jealous, and I'm still jealous sometimes, because you know, she is a mommy's girl. But in the beginning, it made me really jealous, because I was like, girl, I carried you. Put some respect on me. But that is my birth story. Cheese. She was born 10/10/2020 at 9:05. Cheese. We ended up only staying at the hospital for like a day-ish. She was born Saturday morning, and then we left Sunday night. I was like, we gotta go. Like, I kind of knew I wasn't gonna get any sleep, but Quasi's also like really tall, so they only had the couch for him, and the couch was too small. So this is me being considerate and, you know, thinking about my man, and I was like, we gotta get home so he can sleep in his bed, the bed that he can fit in, because these little couches, they ain't it. But yeah, that's my birth story. Nothing traumatic, nothing horrible, you know, no horror stories, no like we almost lost her. Like, I'm extremely grateful and blessed to have had the experience that I had. Even with my pregnancy, like I didn't have any horrible symptoms. Honestly, the worst of it was I had extremely bad back pains. I had slight back pains before, but something about the pregnancy, obviously, you know, with the weight and stuff, it just made it so much more worse. And I think that has never gone away, because I still have really bad back pains. But yeah, no, I was never sick. I mean, I was hungry, but I had heartburn one time, and I think it was because I had too much pizza. But yeah, I had a really good pregnancy. I had a really good experience with the labor and delivery, and I have a really good baby. She's so good. She's so well behaved. She's a little spicy. You can see it in her face right now. She's spicy, but she get that from her mom, and she can't help that. But yeah, that's my story. Like I said, leave any comments below about any other stories that you guys want to hear. Someone else said that they wanted to hear the story about me moving to Atlanta, me leaving New York to move to Atlanta, and why I wanted to live here, and then why I want to move back home, because I feel like I may have mentioned this, I can't remember, but we are, you know, gonna be moving back home, hopefully soon. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. I will be back shortly with another video. I was gonna do the whole, you know, finishing the get ready, but I'm running out of time. I didn't even pick out an outfit, so I'm just about to throw on anything at this point. But thanks again for listening. We love you. Bye. Say bye, Lily. Say bye. Say bye. Say bye.